You are welcome to the next episode of our lecture, which centers on the theoretical perspective in human lifespan development. In our previous interactions, we had series of discussion regarding the behaviorist, the biologist or physiologist. This time around, we are going to talk about the cognitivist. And within the cognitivist, we discussed issues of PG. This time, we are going to talk about Vygotsky. We're going to talk about Vygotsky, and we continue with it. So the time we have allotted for this get exhausted. Vygotsky proposed the sociocultural theory, and this theory indicates that the human organism live not in isolation. We live in the middle of people, and we interact. The culture one finds herself, the culture one finds he or herself in, influence the way and manner you think, the way and manner you act, and the way and manner you relate. The society we find ourselves fine-tune the thinking that we have. Vygotsky proposed the concept scaffolding, which signifies that someone can build on his or her intelligence if the person is being supported by a more knowledgeable individual in the area. So whoever that is more knowledgeable could be your father, could be your mother, could be your teacher, or anyone that is ahead of you in your academic work. He also proposed a zone of proximal development, ZPD, which indicates that an individual can learn, but then he or she is found at a stage which is just immediate ahead of his or her current stage. So you can only get to know whatever that you have there when you have a peer or you have a colleague who assists you through peer learning or interaction. And that ends the theory of Lev Semenov-Vygotsky. Now, what does the information processing theories have for us when it comes to human lifespan development? With the information processing theories, the human mind is aligned or is likened to a computer. Input, process, output. Input, process, output. It means the human mind works like a machine. Like the way and manner we type information into our computers. We command it. Then the computer processes the information and give us results. So the input here is a stimulus. The process here is the working or the organization of the problem. And the output here is the results that we have. So the information processing theory, according to Munakata 2006, it used digital computers and tried to align with mathematical concepts. And the human mind is trying to work as if it is a computer, but it isn't a computer. So with this, we have encoding, storage, and retrieval. And they are the processes of information. So whenever you hear the information processing theory, think about memory. The memory that you possess, the memory on your phone, how you are able to save information in it is about the information processing theory. So we have three components of the human memory: the sensory register, short-term memory, and the long-term memory. The sensory register is limitless. Series of information come into it within a span of 5 seconds. As we go out there, our sense organs is being bombarded with a lot of information, and these information are received by the sensory register, which is SR. And within a extent of 5 seconds, the information there is lost. And it's lost because that is the capacity or the duration it can hold up onto it. Then it further gets processed in the short-term memory. And within the short-term memory, it takes just 20 seconds. Just 20 seconds for processing to be done. Then we are trying to make meaning out of that. And within the short-term memory, we have the working memory, meaning we try to do maintenance rehearsal to be able to remember information within that period. And once you are able to remember within that period, that is the 20 seconds, you are able to move it into your long-term memory, And the information in the long-term memory is timeless. It's with you as and when you live life. You can even forget about it, but then as time goes on, you can remember. That makes it long-term. But let's go back. Within the short-term memory, someone can put an information in terms of chunks, meaning units. So a chunk of +1 minus 5 plus 1 minus 2, or 5 plus 2 or minus 2, meaning you can have an average of 5, you can have a maximum of 9, and you can have a minimum of 5, an average of 7, and a maximum of 9. That is 7 plus minus 2. 7 plus minus 2. So if you have 7 plus minus 2, a minimum of 5, a maximum of 9 is the chunks that you can keep in your memory system. And that gives us the capacity of which or within which the short-term memory can operate. We have the information stores in the information system. The information stores, they place in the mind where the information is stored, such as sensory memory, short-term memory, long-term memory, semantic memory, and episodic memory. Over here, we have the cognitive processes. They are the various processes that transfer information among the different memories that we have. And the different memories that we have are the sensory register, short-term memory, and long-term memory. And over here too, some of the processes include the perception, how we are able to visualize information, take our own cue out of that, coding, trying to make the information a bit understanding, recoding or recording, trying to keep the information in a way that it can be saved, and chunking, bringing the information into manageable bits. And we have retriever, trying to bring the information forth for usage or application purposes. We have the executive cognition. With the executive cognition, it is the awareness of the individual of the way and manner information is being processed in the person. Once you are aware of how information is being processed in yourself, you are using your executive cognition. We have 4 elements that are added to the information system as proposed by Baddeley and H in 1974. We have the central executive, we have the phonological loop, we have the visuospatial sketchpad, and we have the episodic buffer. We have the executive or central executive. We have the phonological loop. We have the visuospatial sketchpad, and we have the episodic buffer. We shall walk ourselves through this individually, and we shall appreciate it. What is found in the central executive? It is considered as the center of all parts of the mind. Whatever that we do, whatever information that we have there, it is being regulated by the central executive. So it controls and also implements the cognitive processes that bring about encoding of information and the retrieval of such an information. Furthermore, the central executive receives information from all other components of the memory in terms of the visuospatial sketchpad, the episodic buffer, and phonological loop. In terms of the visuospatial sketchpad, episodic buffer, and the phonological loop. So the frontal lobe of the human brain is thought to be the one that keep or house the central executive, as this is where all active decisions that we make in our life are being processed and actions are taken based on that. So the frontal lobe is one of the best or one of the key or important parts of the brain, which is responsible for processing of information that are active in our system. We have the phonological loop as the second aspect of the memory process. It works in line with the central executive and holds information that are auditory in nature. Any information that we use our ear to hear, that is what it's phonological. So it further composed of subdivisions. We have the phonological store and we have the articulatory rehearsal process. The phonological store is where we are able to keep the auditory-based information, and the articulatory rehearsal is when we are able to talk about it and use or apply the information auditory-wise. When we say, as I'm talking, I'm using the articulatory rehearsal, and it's able to keep the information for a longer period, but that of the phonological store is for a shorter period. We have the visual spatial sketchpad. Visual spatial sketchpad. It is considered another part of the executive that holds spatial or visual information. So any information that is visual in nature, the visual spatial sketchpad is able to hold it, and they are able to imagine objects, try to make us or help us to maneuver information in the environment. We have the episodic buffer. According to Baddeley and Hedge, the episodic buffer increases our ability of our mind, and the episodic buffer tries to transfer information between the short-term memory, the perceptions that we have, and the long-term memory. So it is still relatively new, and as we stand today, or we talk about today, more investigation are being conducted to appreciate how best the episodic buffer works in the human memory, and these are part of the information processing theories. Aside that, what do we think we can use this theory for? So as we engage learners, we must know how the theory has been applied and how the human memory is worked, so that we may not end up bombarding information onto the sense organs of an individual where they cannot capture them within a moment. So we try to break the information according to manageable bits. Then we try to let the individual be exposed to them so that he or she can learn and apply in their life. Sometimes, if you go to some of these grade A schools where we have private, they try to let the person learn beyond the person's current stage. And remember, the stage you are and the memory you possess are synonymous, or they are correlated. And once they are correlated and you are doing things beyond another part of the individual, it brings nothing than trouble. And when trouble comes in, it doesn't help the individual, but worry the person in life. So let's be careful as learners or as teachers in our environment. Anytime at all we engage learners we should try to always let them repeat. Either we repeat in the short-term memory, that is maintenance rehearsal, or we repeat in the long-term memory, that is elaborate rehearsal, so that the best of all can be learned. Aside this, let's talk about the humanistic theories. The humanistic theories have in mind that the individual person has the ability to live the life they want to be, provided we give them the opportunity. And this opportunity that we talk about is unconditional. And the two key individuals that propose this theory or that work in the humanistic perspective are Abraham Maslow and Carl Rogers. Abraham Maslow and Carl Rogers. We shall talk about them individually. And after we are done with it, we all will appreciate what they bring to us as theories. And remember, the counseling profession that we aspire to be in future, it hub around the humanistic perspective. So what did Carl Rogers say? Carl Rogers built the needs theory, hierarchy of needs, and there are 5 levels. There are 5 levels of which the individual must go through it to understand the self and live a life that the person has aspired or think for the self. And the person can only live and appreciate this when we, those in society, try to give the person the opportunity to explore such an environment. So we have the physiological need. He says that every individual, you think about what is immediate to you. And the physiological need is what we talk about immediate to you. It contains air, it contains food, it contains where we live or sleep, what we wear. And when we come to this, every individual, if you lack food, you lack water, there's nothing you can do about your life than dying. So we think about that one before any other thing. That is why when you are hungry, you go out there to look for food to eat. When you are feeling for defecating, you don't keep it, you go to do it, otherwise you soil yourself. It is immediate and we can't withhold it. We must try to satisfy it at that moment. So society must pride the aspect that we need to accept and allow the individual to receive such physiological needs. According to Maslow, When the physiological need is being what? Satisfied, another need comes, that is safety needs, where to sleep, job security, employment, resources, health, and property acquirement. Now that we have eaten and there's enough to be left, what do? We sell to build. We sell to go to hospital or to go for checkups, and that is the physiological need. Again, the third one is the love and belonging. After we are able to think about where we lay our head and sleep, we are in sound mind and we can do all that. We think about love and belonging. To love, to be loved, to love, and to be loved is what we think about. And to belong to a group, friendship, intimacy, sense of connection between or among ourselves and other people. So when we talk about this theory, for instance, and specifically the love and belonging, have this in mind. To love is nothing. To be loved is something. But to love and to be loved is everything. To love is nothing. To be loved is something. To love and to love is everything. So this is where it comes from. And we have the self-esteem, where we have respect for ourselves, where we have status. We recognize who we are. We have the strength and freedom to live the life we want to live. That is the focus of this particular angle. So as we go on board to do or to work out, Maslow indicates that once you are able to achieve love and belongingness, your respect for yourself and others is key. And you are able to understand that, yeah, I'm typical human being and desire to be accepted and have a value for others, where others do have value for me, then you can move into self-actualization. When you evaluate your life and think back and say, yeah, what I've desired, I've acquired it. What I want in life, I've had it, and I have nothing else. But a later time, another need came, transcendence need. Many people thought of becoming president. When they became president and left office, they didn't remain there. They became people who monitor what do you call it, elections or head other institutions in Africa. And those needs are what we term as transcendence need, which is developed by Maslow later in the theory. As you can see from the pyramid, it starts from the base, and the base many is huge, and you get up there. The up there is only few. Not all of us can acquire self-actualization or transcendence in our lives. But then in our lives, we have actualized severally. At first, we were thinking of completing senior high. After senior high, we thought of enrolling in university. And in the university, we were thinking of completing it with good grades. After completing with good grades, another need came. That is what? Masters. And we are doing masters today. So it keeps coming until you die out. Wherever you find yourself and you enroll into a particular type of project, you think about how you are going in that particular project. And it become a new need that you must satisfy in your life. That brings on board the transcendence need. So he went further to give the cognitive need, aesthetic need, and the transcendent need. So the cognitive need is our ability to increase our intelligence. Aesthetic needs, our ability or the need for beautiful imagery or having a good lifestyle, buying new cars and driving. And the transcendent refers to the very highest and most inclusive or holistic level of human consciousness, behaving and relating as ends rather than means, to itself, to significant others, to human beings in general, and as well to other species. So you love animals, you give credit to animals, you enjoy them. They are all part of the transcendence need in our human lifespan development. So what are the implications? It means as human beings, we must satisfy our lower needs before the higher needs because they are key and they are key to our survival. They have a survival value. You can't just say you are doing this without thinking about that. So let's have in mind. We have Carl Rogers. Carl Rogers thought about, or he proposed unconditional positive regard, love without question, respect without question, like the person the way the person is, and try to guide the person to achieve whatever he or she wants. That is the unconditional positive regard. And according to him, every individual has an innate ability, innate potential for whatever that they want to do. And they can only do that when we don't place or when we try not to give or define their frontiers for them. So we are able to live in a phenomenal field, where we have our personal motivation, and the environment also has a toll on us. And we try to react subjectively toward the phenomenal field with changes occurring continuously. So you find yourself in the environment as a self, people around you, images that you see, your thoughts, your behaviors, and the objects that hop around wherever you find yourself. They all influence the way and manner you think. So in simple terms, love with a question mark. And with this theory, he proposed the ideal self from the self that we know, the self who you are, what you are, and what you think about yourself and others. But within the self, we have two types of self, the real self and the ideal self. The ideal self is the person that you would like to be, what you aspire to be, and the real self is what you carry. So all of us here know ourselves and what we are. That is our real self. But what we think about to be in future is our ideal self, according to Carl Rogers. So Rogers focused on the idea that we need to achieve consistency between the two selves. Yeah, we are aspiring to become counselors, but within us, we don't have the ability. That's the real self. So there's always a tangle between the real self and ideal self. And we need to what? Think about how to liberate or break that particular rift so that the right or the best self that we want in our life can occur. So one real self matches up with the ideal self, and we term that one congruence. So when we are able to break the chain and form or forge harmony between the ideal self and the real self, we term that one congruence. And that make up the theory of our Carl Rogers, one of the humanist perspective. So we want good life, and we must live a good life. So what are the implications? Parents and teachers should create a positive learning environment for their learners. Parents and teachers should give clarity to their training purposes. Parents should always teach and provide learning resources to whoever is growing within their enclave. And again, parents and teachers should balance their teaching and learning for the growing individual or child. Parents and teachers should always help learners share their thoughts and feelings with them so that they get to know what they also have as individuals or organisms. Parents and teachers should also strive for new and modern curriculum for their learners. And lastly, parents and teachers should be active listeners and listen to all that happen in the life of their learners so that at the end of the day, the best can be realized for such a learner. We have the biopsychosocial theory. This one entangle or entails the behaviorists, the cognitivists, the biologists, and the socialists. According to them, no single individual grows from a particular theoretical perspective. All the theories come to be as one, and more or less it's like eclectic, borrowing from several theories to define or explain circumstances in the life of an individual. So you can see our Venn diagram or our oval shapes, and the individual finds themselves in the middle where the mental health is. So the biological aspect of you, the psychological aspect of you, and the social and environmental aspect of you influence the way and manner you think or increase your thinking. So as you can see the intersections between and among all the three oval shapes. So in simple terms, the biopsychosocial model entails that biological factors, psychological factors, and socio-environmental factors come together as one to influence our thoughts, our thinking, and our development in society. In our next interaction, we shall think about the human lifespan development in totality, and we talk about the stages of human development: infancy, toddlerhood, childhood, adolescence, and adulthood. Then we end the course with aged. So for now, let's have this and use as basis. Thank you very much and have a wonderful period.